know who Alinsky dedicated his book to, Rules for Radicals?
Who?
He dedicated it to Lucifer, the first radical.
What a lovely fellow.
What a nice guy.
All right. Anyway, we're on the air right now. We're going to finish our segment. We're going to finish the political and say our goodnight.
Yes.
And the reason I want to continue on this because there's a couple more points I wanted to get over. First thing, BP. And I'm not talking about the oil spill.
No, I'm talking about...
I'm talking about Abdel Basset El-Megrahi.
Al-Megrahi, yeah.
Those sons of bitches.
If this turns out that this is what they did, they can burn in hell.
I'm telling you...
What is...
BP may very well have, and there seems to be a lot of evidence pointing to this. BP may have brought pressure to bear on the British government to let El-Megrahi out so that they could close the oil deal with Libya.
For the Gulf of Syria.
We have
the
Lockerbie bomber. He's the Lockerbie bomber.
If you remember, he was released on the condition
he'll
that
be
he was
dead
gonna
in 3
die.
months.
Yeah.
Now they say, he could live for 10 years.
He's alive, and he's doing fine. And they believe BP put political pressure on the British government to get that deal done so that BP, which is a nationalized company, whose revenues go directly back to Britain, they can move over and...
BP has stockholders.
Yes, they
do.
So
not everything goes back to the government.
What I'm saying
is
stockholders. I think BP is the only
British Petroleum. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. They used to be British Petroleum. Now they're beyond petroleum.
Beyond petroleum.
They're certainly beyond reason.
That's right.
There was a big advertising campaign. We're beyond petroleum.
But to my understanding,
we're going into pollution. And by God, they took it by storm, didn't
beyond
they?
Pollution.
Sons of bitches. If they did this, my God.
There's no, and that's the thing. Like, this is
we can't trust anyone.
No. There's not, well, that's the thing. Like,
we are on our own.
We often differ, conservative, liberal, big business, big government, those types of ideologies. When something like this happens, this is despicable, deplorable behavior, and it needs to be punished.
There'll be no Democrat.
There's
no Democrat, Republican on this one. It'll just be Americans pissed off as hell.
In 1988, hundreds of people died, including 11 people on the ground in Lockerbie, Scotland, because this son of a bitch put a bomb on an aircraft.
Their own citizens died.
Yeah, and they let him go.
This just stinks to high heaven.
I didn't want him to let him go in the first place. We talked about this on the show.
No, I would have said let him die in prison.
Here's the thing, okay? That whole thing happened over Scotland, and people tend to think that Scotland and England are the same entity. Okay,
yeah, no, they're not.
The guys running the show in Britain, okay, it's a whole different faction. Those people in Scotland are totally pissed off.
But a lot of
they've been trying to get their sovereignty for a long, long time.
A lot of the people who died on that flight were Americans. They were American.
That's true, but
the
plane blew up over Scotland.
That's right. And Scottish jurisdiction, Scottish airspace.
That's right. Yep.
All right. Last thing I want to talk about is the unemployment extension.
Oh God.
All right. No. Look, I don't want to let anybody play politics with this. Okay. Now it's going to be played up that the Republicans are opposed to extending unemployment compensation.
Not true.
It is not true. The only difference is that the Democrats are attempting to pass this bill as an emergency spending bill, which allows them to do it as a deficit spending bill, as if they haven't put us in hock enough.
Well,
the Republicans are willing to do this, but their point is, look, you've got all this money sitting in the TARP. We have no use for it anymore. Let's do the extension, but let's use the money we've already allocated instead of borrowing more against the future.
And you know what?
The Democrats are not willing to do that because they're going to use this as a political hammer.
Oh yeah.
They're
going to set themselves up in opposition. They're going to set the Republicans
up in
opposition.
Will the American people see through this?
No.
I think they will.
No.
If you look at all the polls, the number one concern actually among the American electorate is the debt.
Yeah, deficit.
The deficit and the debt. They're going to see through this. I think the Democrats are hoping this is going to be something that's going to save them in the fall election. I don't think it does.
Let me ask you a two-pronged question here. First one, the Republicans the Democrats enacting the PAYGO law, which is what the Republicans are saying, look, if you're going to enact a PAYGO law, you need to follow it.
Remember how the Democrats were big on that PAYGO stuff when the Republicans were in control?
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden they don't give a rat's ass.
Now the question for you is, if the Republicans stand against this right now, and the Democrats set this up, and the money is still sitting in TARP and the stimulus, do you think that the Republicans will be able to successfully convert that? Because given the Republicans' inability to convert anything into actual results, Do you think they'll be able to take back enough seats based on this? Do you think this will be the tipping point in any major elections?
No.
I don't think so either.
Even if they did, I'm not entirely certain they got the
backbone
for it.
But I think this might keep a few Democrats in their seats.
You know,
they can say, look, because all the Democrat has to do, all the candidate has to do is put up an ad on TV saying, Republican so-and-so voted against extending your unemployment benefits. And question number 2, are we incentivizing people to not go after jobs?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I have heard of things where a person said, you know, I've got 99 weeks of unemployment compensation. They were offered to take a job. Said, that's fine, but can I wait till my unemployment insurance is up? As long as the government's paying me not to work, I'll just continue not to work.
There's a guy that works at Home Depot right now that he will only work X amount of hours, so
he can continue to draw unemployment.
Yeah. That's right. Anyway, we've got to make sure we don't allow...
Oh, and by the way, me, average white American, okay, this is that whole entitlement thing, too, that really pisses me off.
Sure.
I applied for the emergency because my employment ran out after 6 months.
Sure.
I applied for the emergency thing, which will run you another 3 months.
Yeah.
They said, okay, you can have this. A few weeks later, they sent me a nice letter and said the emergency fund has run out. So you're going to have to come in and talk to us or whatever, reapply or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay?
Oh my God.
What the hell?
Yeah. There's money available for this stuff.
And I've told you before, okay? And people don't want to touch this subject, conservatives, and this really pisses me off, is entitlements to minorities, okay? My wife today brought up, we're driving down the road, she said, you need to ask one of those Mexican guys right there, to come and cut our grass. I said, look, I don't want to talk to any of those sons of bitches. You know why? Because they come into places where I work and they can't speak the frickin' language, and they expect me to kowtow and try to understand what the hell they're trying to say. And they talk among themselves about us in, their own little language. It's bullshit. We need to get rid of those sons of bitches. And
I can personally attest to that, because in this neighborhood that I live in here, everybody's getting their roofs done about the same time. I was lagging behind everybody else. Nothing but Latinos everywhere you looked up on the roofs. All Latinos. The economy goes into the dumpster, and all of a sudden they're gone. And when I finally got around to hiring someone to come and do my roof, they were all American citizens. They were all American citizens. You didn't hear a word of Spanish. So don't tell me they're not taking some jobs, because those are fairly good pay. You're roofing, you're getting a pretty good salary. You're getting a pretty good salary.
But I'm just so sick of the hypocrisy, man. I'm just sick of it, and I'm sick of these.
It's a fine American tradition.
I'm sick of it.
I'm sick of it.
None of this is new. Go back and check out the 1828 and 1832 election campaigns.
It's not new, but when it lands at your doorstep and you're a good American, you talk about paying your taxes. It gets a little personal.
It's a little personal. Don't blame you. Anyway, there's a lot of anger out there, and
as we've just seen.
Yeah, and that's why I think that in spite of this play by the Democrats on the unemployment insurance, I think it's not going to play for them. It's just not going to play.
I don't think this is their season.
What do you think, Brooke?
I don't know. I mean, I think both
sides.
You say
something, my sisters will get mad at me if you don't say anything.
No, I just think both sides are, to screw us either way whenever they get in power.
My God, she's moving our direction.
No,
have you noticed this? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. She's moving our direction. Brooke is coming our way.
We're definitely going to need a whole show dedicated to that. We're gonna
oh my God, you'll wind up being as hated as Alan Colmes.
We're going to have to stage an intervention. I'm sorry.
Well, anyway, that's another show, everybody.
Eat some brownies.
That's another show. We got to get off the air, or we're going to lose this one too. I want to thank my cast for coming in. Percy Hugo,
always a pleasure.
My political director, Lance, our comedic director, Flem Dorkman, catch him on, Brooke, the lovely Brooke Fox, who's our conscience and our conscious, because we like to drink on the show.
That's right.
Anyway, good night, Snodgrass. You know we love you. And we say goodnight to all of us from Colbertradio.com.
Bye-bye now.